As you already know, there are only 12 notes in music. 7 of these are perfect or natural notes. The other 5 notes are the sharps and flats. These are called enharmonic notes. An enharmonic note has 2 names. One is a sharp while the other is a flat. Regardless of being called a sharp or a flat, it's still the same note. E-flat tuning is when all 6 strings are uniformly turned down a semitone or a half step in pitch below standard E tuning. As a result, the open strings of the guitar will be tuned to the 5 enharmonic notes. As usual, the same logic also applies to the bass. Lastly, E-flat tuning is still in 440 wavelength calibration. Since you already know how to tune your guitar to standard E tuning, it'll be fairly easy to learn how to tune all 6 strings down a half a step in pitch to E-flat tuning. It's easy. You just take the names of the strings in standard tuning and add a flat to the end. You'll have E-flat, A-flat, D-flat, G-flat, B-flat, and E-flat. That's the easy way, but the problem is that most tuners recognize sharps instead of flats. It's really one note with 2 names, a sharp name and a flat name. What you're going to have to do is reassign new names to the strings. This one will be D, G, C, F, A, and D. Now, it gets pretty confusing to do that. So what we're going to do is create another mnemonic to make it easier to remember the names of those strings. Just remember that diligent guitarists can find ambition daily. D, diligent. G, guitarists. C, can. F, find. A, ambition. D, daily. What those actually are the tunings of the strings if you tuned all 6 down a full step rather than a half a step. So you've actually learned how to do 2 different tunings with one video. On the tuner, you just check for the new name of the string and make sure that your sharp indicator is on. That'll tell you that you're a half step down in pitch. If the sharp indicator isn't on, you're a full step down in pitch. Now whether you're using standard E tuning, E-flat tuning, or D tuning, the check that we did by ear in the first video works for all of them because all 6 strings are uniformly tuned down the same amount. When you're trying to learn cover songs, it's very important that you determine the tuning that the artist used to write and record the song so you can tune your guitar to the same tuning to learn it. It's a lot easier when you can take advantage of them open notes and open strings. On that note, keep in mind that the guitar is tuned for convenience. Listen for the open chords. The most common are E5, A5, D5. If you're in standard tuning and you find yourself playing an A-flat 5th power chord quite a bit, which is the first finger on the low E string at the 4th fret, there's a possibility that maybe the guitar is tuned down a half a step to take advantage of the open A. The same is true with the D-flat 5th. If you find yourself playing this chord a lot, where the root note is your first finger on the 4th fret of the A string, there's a possibility maybe the guitar was tuned down a half a step to take advantage of the open D5. And lastly, if there's a low note that you just can't seem to figure out, no matter what you do, but yet you come up here with your first finger on the 6th fret of the A string, this is an E flat fifth power chord. If you can't find that note, but this seems to work, that's a clear indicator that you need to tune your guitar down a half a step. When a guitar is tuned to standard tuning, on the low E string at the 4th fret, this note is either A flat or G sharp. If we go up a string and pitch on the same fret, this note is either D flat or C sharp. If we continue up another string and pitch on the same fret, this note is either G flat or F sharp. Now we're going to shift up the neck a step and pitch, but go back down to the E string. This is either a B flat or an A sharp. And lastly, if we go up a string and pitch on the same fret, this is either E flat or D sharp. These are your 5 enharmonic notes. I know it's confusing that they have 2 names, but it is what it is. When we've tuned all 6 strings down a half a step in pitch, we've tuned them to these tones. Essentially what you've done is you've taken every note on the fretboard and shifted it up a half a step from its previous position. Now to relearn all your notes is going to be confusing. So generally what you do in sheet music is they'll notate it just like it's in standard, but they'll put a note at the top of the page saying it's E flat tuning. So essentially you're in E flat, but you pretend that it's E. There are a few advantages to using E flat tuning. 1, it makes the music sound a little heavier. 2, the strings are also a little easier to bend when soloing. 3 is the biggest advantage. It brings down the pitch of the vocals with the music, making it a little less strenuous on the singer. This is especially advantageous if you are in a working cover band that plays about 45 songs a night during a typical weekend gig in a bar or club. This gives the singer a little more stamina so he or she can last the whole night. There are many professional acts who have used E flat tuning in all or at least some of their work. Some of these acts include Poison, Guns N' Roses, Van Halen, Warrant, Kiss, Alice in Chains, Weezer, Green Day, Rat, Smash Mouth, Puddle of Mud, and Collective Soul, just to name a few. If you plan to play in a typical working cover band, the bulk of the songs that you will play will probably be in either standard or E flat tuning.